Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to week 10 of Humanity 360's Joy Workshop series. My name is Shantice.
And I'm Cedrica.
And we are founder and co-founder of Humanity 360. For those of you that do not know, Humanity 360 is a nonprofit founded out of the Washington, D.C. area in 2014. And we primarily focus on introducing mental wellness and holistic healing practices to underserved and underrepresented communities. So
yeah. So with COVID-19, we've been doing everything virtually, but our mission is to be in the community and actually interacting with the people in the community so that they can know who we are. And it's very, it's a transparent interaction. So we are still adjusting to being online, but we're happy to get started.
Yeah, we're happy to be here. And the premise of this workshop series was really just to ensure that people are still getting the information and access to the tools that they may need to cope with some of the things that we're dealing with during these times. And so 10 different coping skills we've done some deep diving into. And we'll continue to move through that today. And today is actually one of my favorites, and it makes sense because I'm so hungry and I have access to eat some things that are probably not that good for me right now. So I'm very interested in this conversation about I am what I eat. Okay, so we'll get started. Welcome to everyone. Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys for being here again. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen.
How's everyone feeling? If you don't mind, can you drop where you are in the world in the chat box? We are currently in Maryland at the moment.
Definitely always like to begin with showing you our journey and what we offer as far as services goes and giving you an opportunity to follow our journey. We will share this information again, but sometimes people have to run out, so we want to make sure that you get this information in the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Week 10. Woo!
Nice. Let's set the mood. Thank you for choosing you today. No matter what your day has been like in the past, you have taken time to activate joy factors right now today. For that, you should be applauded and awarded. Be prepared to take the next however long you take to actively engage in various methods of stress reduction. Each activity, exercise, and all property presented was created by Humanity 360 and is based on personal experience only. Grab your utensil and a few sheets of paper. Remember, this is strictly about you and finding ways to connect with your true, authentic self.
Few friendly reminders. We are recording this webinar. Please don't be afraid to ask questions. No question is a dumb question. We have the chat box. You can utilize that during the presentation. If you are with us, we ask that you keep your line on mute when you're not speaking. We're not here to sell or endorse any products, and we strongly encourage everyone to do their own research. We are not physicians, and we only share what personally works for us. Today's agenda features our feature presenter, Alana DaCosta. And so after that, we'll be deep diving into some activities and some discussions from her about plant-based eating. And we'll talk about our upcoming workshops after that.
Black Coffee Company, thank you so much for allowing us to utilize your platform. Excuse me. Everyone, if you do not know about Black Coffee Company, I beg you to tap into this community. It is definitely a powerhouse. Everything that you could possibly think or need or want or connect, you can find it in that community.
For the culture. They are definitely for the culture. And we're super happy to be partners with them. Thank you, Black Coffee Company. You are what you eat. You are what you
eat. And your mental health depends on it.
Wow. I am what I eat. What did I eat today? This is interesting. I'm not even going to take this conversation over. I would like to take this time to introduce our guest speaker, and we're going to get out of your way when we talk about we are what we eat, because we have so much more to learn about plant-based eating, right?
Yes.
Hello, how are you today?
I am doing so well, and I want to thank both of you beautiful beings for allowing me to be here with you all today.
Of course.
Um, Plant-based eating has been a journey for me. It has been a very challenging one, but I am so, so thankful. And I'm thankful to be able to share my journey with you and to realize that we always have options in life, right? And one thing that I've learned through my journey, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more later, is the importance of guilt free, mindful eating, right? Anything that we do, we are energetic beings, and anything that we do carries energy in it, including eating. So when we, you know, carry guilt and project the feelings of guilt on ourselves because of what we eat, that doesn't help in digesting the food. It doesn't help in what we think about ourselves. It's just a rippling effect that it causes in our lives, right? Another thing that I realized is that instead of attaching a label to how I eat, it was more important for me to be more conscious and more aware of the connection of what I eat and how I feel afterwards, right? I think a lot of us, we eat for enjoyment, which is good. It's a good thing. We want to have those desires of sweetness. We want to satisfy, but at the same time, we have to be aware of, when eating one thing, how do I feel afterwards? What does my body feel like? What are my thoughts? And connecting the two and just being more mindful what we eat. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more today, so we can all walk away feeling empowered about the choices that we make, regardless of whether we call it vegan or plant-based eating, but knowing that we have to walk away being more mindful in our eating and making guilt-free choices, because there's always options, right? So I want to do a few icebreakers with everyone, and I'm going to share my screen. Let me see. I'm still new on this Zoom thing. Everyone now is zooming through life, so I'm learning. So please be patient with me as I find the document. Here we go. And can everyone see my page? Let me.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, good. So once again, my name is Alana DaCosta. Now, I used to be, for many years, a mental health counselor, and I worked primarily with children who were victims or perpetrators of sexual abuse. And that was primarily the population of the youth that I served. And I first learned about plant-based eating when I was 13, a child myself, after watching a documentary in high school on chicken farming practices. Now, I was completely traumatized. I'm a very visual person, so upon seeing that and just seeing how different practices were happening and how they didn't fall in alignment with who I was as an individual, it forced me to make a decision that I'm going to be more aware of what I'm eating, right? It At that point, I stopped eating red meat and poultry. I still ate fish occasionally, but I made a choice at that point that I'm going to control and be aware about what I put in my body. And I did that at 13. But I still, ate fish once in a while. And there were certain times, coming from a Jamaican background, if I knew my Uncle Dennis was making curry goat, I was going to have a spoon of curry goat during Christmas time, right? So I made conscious choices knowing that maybe after the curry goat, I was going to have a belly ache, but I was still going to do it anyway, right? And I really identified that time, and I still kind of identify it sometimes in my life now, as a power struggle. That time is when my power struggle would food, what my food journey began. Now, my plant-based journey, like I said, my parents are of Jamaican background. My father was Rastafari, and I have a lot of Rastafarian in my family. So we eating healthy wasn't a problem. We didn't eat pork in the house. We were always juicing or, having vegetables be a big part of our diet. Before it was called vegan, it was called Ital. So we ate a lot of Ital food in my house. But there were still certain things culturally that we ate that wasn't in alignment. For example, chicken foot soup, like that scared me, right? But that was a staple. Or manishwata, which is goat head soup. So there are certain things that culturally was acceptable, but I knew in my mind that even though it tasted well, I didn't want to eat it. So I started to kind of scrutinize certain things that I ate that was influencing me. Now, some of the challenges that I had on my plant-based journey was finding healthy options. Going to a gathering or a party and really not having any options. So either not eating or giving in and eating things that weren't healthy for me. Also, some of my challenges would be extended time periods of not eating. So about 18, I started doing a lot of fasting, but unhealthy fasting. Fasting with where my intentions were not to be healthier, but to look a certain way, right? Which, remember I said, everything we do, the energy and the intention of everything that we do, it weighs us, it weighs on us mentally, spiritually, physically, all of those things, because we are energetic beings. So what I would do is I would go long periods without eating and then binge eat, or go out throughout the day without eating and then eat late at night. I considered myself to be the snack bandit, right? Because I love snacking. Now, the benefits on this journey that I learned when I both had a strictly vegan diet, there was a period of 7 years in my life where I didn't eat anything that was derived from an animal, including honey. And what I learned on that journey is that my energy increased. My regularity, how often I went to the bathroom and moved my bowels, that also increased. I noticed my mood also changing. My mood was better. My skin was clear. It also taught me, I learned more on how to prepare different types of foods, right? And I started to feel good within my body, with my body goal not being my intention. Like I didn't necessarily want to lose weight. That wasn't my goal. I wanted to just feel good within my body. And I started feeling good within my body. Now, some of the supports that I thought were necessary in order for me to be able to maintain a healthier diet, I hate the word diet, but to be able to make healthier choices, I had to, seek out friends and family that were on the similar path. I had to do my own research. So books, reading, listening to different podcasts that talk about healthy eating. I have a few friends of mine that do meal planning and prepping, and they would come in and teach me how to do a few different meals. So really trying to step out of my comfort zone and explore, new foods. Also, meditation helped me a lot, and being centered and finding a space where I could be judge free and not have any expectation or not have any end goal, but knowing that this was a lifestyle change for me. Meditation helped keep me grounded, knowing that what my end result is my goal in life is I want to live a very long, intentional life. I want to be able to be here to see my great grandchildren, right? And I know that what we consume, everything that we consume, not just food, but what we consume on our phones, on different devices and conversations, all of those impact, our life experience. So for me, it was important to be grounded in that, knowing that this journey is a never-ending journey. It's not something that is going to happen overnight, and it's not something that I'm going to do for 14 days or for 2 weeks or 3 months. This is a lifestyle. What I want to share with you today as well is some tips and tricks. And like I mentioned, how can we really be guilt-free and mindful eaters? Snack packing, and some shopping hacks I'm going to share with you. Before I do that, I want us to do a little activity. So I know a few people don't have their video shown, but I'm going to give you some time to, if you want to share your face, you can. And we're going to do a little foodie scavenger hunt, right? So we're going to say that you have been advised that you need to leave your home for the next 72 hours to live in isolation. You only have 3 minutes, and I'm gonna time you, to find one food item that you can bring with you for the next 72 hours. Be mindful. You can only eat the one food that you choose for the next 3 days. So I'm gonna ask for you to go in your fridge and your pantry, wherever you have to go, get ready, set, go ahead. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to go and find something from your refrigerator, from your pantry, that you know that you can survive off of for the next 3 days. Give you a little bit more time. Only one item, that's all you have. Okay. I meant to have some music, but maybe I can pull up a little bit. Okay. All right. We're almost there. You got a few more seconds. Almost there. I should have had the music going earlier, but All right. We have like 30 more seconds. All righty. Okay, so let's start with the founders. Let me see what y'all ladies can survive off of. What did you get for the next 3 days?
A plum.
A plum.
So good.
So good. And that one plum is gonna last you 3 days.
No, I thought we could have an abundance of this thing. Wait a minute.
Okay. But the one plum, that's a good choice though. Very good.
I got a whole bundle of kale.
Ooh, nice.
She doesn't have any dressing or anything else to put in her salad.
That's okay. That's okay. Very nice. Very nice.
I think people are dropping comments. Some people may not be able to physically get items, but I think they're answering in the chat. So
okay,
jump in the chat.
Let me see if I can jump in. How do I do that? That's what I need to figure out.
So at the bottom, there should be like a little bubble at the bottom.
Oh, I see it. Okay. I see it.
Yes. So Shan said water, but if more allowed, I'm gonna need mango, spinach, cucumber too.
I need all of that. We're gonna have to barter. Maybe we should all go together.
Yes. Good. I'm seeing that, 2 of you picked living foods, which are good, right? Living foods. I wanted to see if anybody bought any prepackaged, anything prepackaged, any ramen noodles, any Oreos.
If you would have asked me this about 2 years ago, all of that was coming with me.
Okay, yes.
The potato
So the
chips.
good thing with the living food, specifically the plum, which is a good thing, is that it comes with a seed, right? So you can always plant more, right? But it's only 72 hours, right? So it wouldn't be that intense. But the good thing with the green is that it's packed with so many different nutrients, protein, minerals, vitamins. So in 3 days, that bundle, you would survive. You wouldn't starve. You would be good. And you possibly wouldn't even be hungry because it's a green leafy vegetable. All right. Does anyone else want to share something that they can have? I'm trying to find the chat room. I thought I did, but I didn't. All right. Let's go to the next. So what we're going to do next is 2 truths and a could be about food and me. And what I want you to do at this time is you need something to write with and a sheet of paper. And you're going to come up with 3 statements about food in your life. You know, how you shop or cook, your food preferences, any food nightmares you may have, etc. Now, 2 of the statements are to be truths. And 1 is to be something that did not take place, but could have. I'm going to ask at least 3 participants to share their statements, and then we will guess which one of these statements is a falsehood. I'm going to share my 3 just to give you an example. I prefer eating out rather than preparing my own food. My favorite drink is water. When I shop, I only buy items on sale or that are discounted. So those are my 3 examples. I'm going to give you some time, and this time I will have music for you to come up with your 3 statements, 2 truths and 1 could be. So you have a little time. You have like 2 more minutes. So 2 truths and 1 could be. One more minute. All righty. So I gave you my examples. Does anyone want to share their example? You could go ahead and turn on your mic and share your 2 truths and 1 could be.
Okay, we'll share.
Okay.
A lot of our participants are like working right now, so they're kind of just tuning in.
That's
forgive
fine.
them
That's
if they're not
fine.
participating as much. So
That's fine.
So my 3 were that I love warm water, I cook my eggs fried, and that plums are my favorite.
Okay. Okay.
And mine is I love cooking fried fish, and I love to pick my own produce. And I ate a pineapple that tastes like a
Sorry,
a
it should say a
coconut.
coconut.
I ate a pineapple that tastes like a coconut.
It tastes like a
Okay.
pineapple.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. So I know everyone is at work, so I'm going to go jump in right into the next slide, right? So I do have a video, but I'm going to skip the video and go right into educate. And I'll share the video if we have some time towards the end. Now, this is a plant-based food pyramid, and there are a lot of misconceptions about switching to a plant-based diet. Some people want to start omitting animal products from their diets, but they are skeptical because they won't obtain enough calcium or protein or iron or other nutrients from plant-based foods. Little do they know that these nutrients and many more are easily obtained while consuming a vegetarian or vegan diet. So one of the main things, and I'm going to take a sip right now because I need some. One of the main things, if you notice on the base of the pyramid that we need as living human beings is water. We need water. Um, we're made up of 70 to 75% water. We're supposed to be very fluid beings. Therefore, water is very important. A lot of times when people get that sensation of feeling hungry, it's not hunger, it's thirst, right? A lot of times, especially in my upbringing, we were told not to drink before eating. You know, we had when we would go to my grandmother's house, there was an incident where all my cousins would sit at the table and all of our juice would be in the middle of the table or water, and you couldn't get it, and you'll see it like dripping wet, like you'd be thirsty, and you had to eat your food before you can drink that juice or that water, right? When in actuality, a lot of times you want the water, you need the water before you need the food. It helps with digesting the food, especially if you give enough space between the time you drink the water and eat the food. It also, you don't tend to overeat because in actuality, you're really thirsty and you're not hungry. But the body's so trained and we're so conditioned to confuse hunger or thirst for hunger, right? The next thing, if you notice up, are leafy greens. So one of the 72 hours you brought kale, that we could survive off of kale, right? Kale is so rich, and leafy greens are so rich in so many nutrients and vitamins and even protein that the body absorbs very well. Next up, you have also sprouts and legumes, which are beans, all kind of beans. One thing that on my journey that helped me a lot was beans. And I can cook beans all kind of way. I make my own bean burgers. I incorporate beans in everything, and that's chickpeas. I love lentils. Lentils are very, very, very high in protein. Now, there's a myth that we need all of this protein. The body does not need that. We do not need that much protein. And there's all different sources of protein other than animal protein. So what I've included here is a list of different plant-based items that, and their equivalent or approximate equivalent of grams in a protein. Now there's certain things now it's trendy, you know, people are throwing out words like vegan and you know, you have your Beyond Meats and your different plant-based fake meats, I should say. Those are options if you're transitioning. Excuse me. Those are options that if you are transitioning, that they may help you make the transition a little bit more easier. However, I don't recommend that you let them be your main staple of getting protein, because they are very high in other chemicals and other things that the body does not process very well. Also, a lot of those products, they're fairly new. So these are new foods that are created in a lab that, we're tricking the body to think that they're meats. And if you're over consuming them, we don't know in the long run what the outcomes of these new foods may be. So just be mindful of those fake meats. You can make your own, you can make your own. Also here, I listed some other options. You have tempeh and seitan. I don't typically use seitan a lot, but it does have 52 grams of protein. Tempeh contains about 30 grams of protein, and those are other forms of soy or edamame that has been less processed. The goal is for me on this journey, the goal has been to make sure that my plate looks like the rainbow, right? I want my plate to be very bright and colorful. Another goal for me on this journey is that I eat foods that are closest to this natural state as possible. So things like tempeh and seitan and tofu, even though those are healthier options, I don't try to make those my main staple because they are processed foods. One other thing that I've included a lot in is seeds. I love seeds, nuts as well, so almonds and walnuts, but seeds, pumpkin seeds are very high in protein. Flax seeds as well, hemp seeds is another one of my favorite. And even sesame seeds is what they use to make the tahini, are very high in protein. So I wanted to share just some foods that I created and I've made that some people really, really love. I have here in the upper left-hand corner, those are my raw zoodles. So those are raw zucchini and carrot noodles. And I have green beans sauteed with some tomato sauce and some mushrooms. On the lower left-hand corner right there, I have a sweet, I love sweets. So that right there is just some applesauce that I mixed with some spirulina and also moringa, grounded moringa. And I put granola on it, raw granola with some pumpkin seeds, shredded carrots, chia seeds. And then I just put a little bit of maple syrup on top. Not too much. I do like sweet, so I try to find sweet alternatives like dates and maple syrups. I do use agave, but not too often. But there are always options, and that's the one thing, the beautiful thing about being on this journey, you'll find an abundance of options for you. In the next column, I juice a lot. So like I said, my family, my father's a Rasta. That juicer is actually as old as I am. And I'm about to be 43. My father gifted that to my mother when she was pregnant with me, and now I have inherited it, and I juice almost every day. And what I do is, bless you, baby. What I do is when I juice, I repurpose the pulp. When I juice my carrots, I repurpose the pulp and I make a carrot tuna, which is up in that middle corner. I also, when I juice beets, I make beet burgers. Let me see what else is on here. I feel like I'm talking a lot, so I want to add any questions that you may have based on what you see here.
Well, there was a question when you first started this, sorry. Bernice wanted to know what you felt about protein shakes, since that's the new up and coming thing that people are on with the Lazo teas and all of that. But she specifically asked about protein shakes.
Yes. So I think shakes are important, yes. For me, I not necessarily shakes, but smoothies. I do have at least one smoothie a day, especially when I'm doing a detox or a cleanse, but I make it a green smoothie. The thing with a lot of these shakes and smoothies is a lot of times they're adding sugars and sweeteners, and you're defeating the purpose of the smoothie or the shake. So I wouldn't replace it. It would be an addition. A lot of times it's also treated as a meal replacement. I wouldn't look at it as a replacement because we do need whole foods. And a lot of times, we're doing, say, for example, every morning someone has a banana mango smoothie. That's really high in sugar. Where's the green in that? Where is the protein in that? So we have to be mindful of, if we're going to do a smoothie or a shake, that we're incorporating whole foods and that we're not using it as a meal replacement. We're using it as an addition to whatever it is that we are eating. Very good question too.
So I have a question. So like my favorite smoothie to have in the morning is blueberries, strawberries, and I like bananas and I like oatmeal. So and peanut butter. So that's like my go-to, like my favorite smoothie. Is that like too much or?
How do you feel after you drink that?
I feel happy.
Good. That's good. That's good. One thing that I would be mindful of is the mixing. And I know there's a lot of like controversy on this now, especially now, some people say, oh, you shouldn't mix fruits with vegetables and you shouldn't mix this with that. My thing is, how do you feel afterwards, right? What do you recognize it? How does it impact your body afterwards? The thing, how I use
it feels like a meal substitute for me. So like if I have that, I'm not like, oh, what's next? Like
okay,
I can go about my day, and I usually don't.
Satisfying.
I usually don't eat breakfast. So if I do have anything in the morning, it's like tea, water, and then I may have that smoothie closer to noon, 1 o'clock, or something like that. So
good. I think how you're doing it is very well, because we should, when we wake up in the morning, our breakfast, we're actually breaking a fast. So the first thing that we should be consuming is water or teas or something light, and really keeping whole foods and fruits in the morning, and then gradually working up to a smoothie. So how you're consuming it is fine. Be mindful though of the peanuts. Peanuts can cause mucus. It's a nut, but it's one of the least healthier. It's not the healthy.
Is what you said. Peanuts, right?
Peanuts.
Okay, just making
so
sure.
how about almond butter? How about almond butter?
Almond is better.
Okay.
Almond is better. It's easily digested rather than the peanut butter, and it doesn't cause the mucus in the body. Also, my suggestion, blueberries are amazing. Wild blueberries are even better. Wild blueberries.
Oh, wild blueberries.
Wild blueberries. The thing about wild blueberries, and I learned this in one of the books that I'm going to share with you, is wild blueberries, the environments that they can grow and thrive in are amazing. They can thrive in frost. They can thrive in fire even, right? So imagine a fruit like the wild blueberry or any wild berry that can sustain fire, that can sustain frost. Imagine the energy that it carries. And then now imagine consuming that energy.
Absolutely.
So there's the thing about conscious eating or mindful eating is knowing that the energy that the food carries, and knowing that, we can use those things to empower us in our choices. We can use that knowledge to empower us.
So we had another question in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
First, from her question, is the second picture on the top, is that the bentonite detox?
Oh yes, so that's bentonite clay. That's bentonite clay that I use, that in this specific carrot juice that I made, I put some in there. I'm just finishing a 30-day detox. I actually finished yesterday, and that was one of the things that I use when I do my detox and cleanse is bentonite clay.
So someone had a question about the entire detox itself, and if you recommended how to go about it, just some pointers in that area.
So definitely, for me, I can only talk about my journey. Like I said, I originally started fasting when I was about 18, but I did it for superficial reasons. I just basically starved myself. I didn't do it with researching what I needed to do. In my mid-20s is when I really started researching and learning about my body and learning what worked best for my body. There are all different types of detoxing and cleansing the body. Fasting is only one way. And about 8 years ago, what I learned is the best detox that worked for me was seasonal detoxing. And I did them anywhere from 7 days. I've done 14 days. I've done 38 days of seasonal detoxing, depending on what I felt I needed at that time. For me, doing a seasonal detox is important. It's like a reset. Anytime before the season is about to change, so we just had a change into the summer solstice, I think it's important for the body to do a reset. But I think it's also important for you to know your body. If you consume a lot of toxic things, and not just food, people, music, whatever, you may need a longer time, but I don't suggest anyone start off the rip doing a 30-day detox, especially if you consume a lot of things that are not aligned with a healthy lifestyle. You may want to start with doing 1 day or doing intermittent, where you are fasting up to a certain time of the day. And then as you start doing that, you'll notice the body is going to crave a detox. Like anytime I get to the time of where the season's about to change, I notice that I start to curb my eating. I don't want to eat as much. Things that I may have craved, I don't crave as much. And the process gets easier. Hence the reason why I was just able to do 30 days, because I've been doing this now for years and years. So be patient with yourself, do your research, and know and study your body. Self-study is the best study. And I think a lot of times people want a cookie cutter idea of what they need to do. But like our fingerprints, we're all beautifully individually made. So we have to study ourselves to know what works best for ourselves. I hope I answered your question. Any other questions?
I'm curious about how you made your carrot tuna.
Ooh, so the carrot tuna is right there up at right next to the juice on the right-hand side. And this was an adventure. I originally started making tuna with sunflower seeds. A sister of mine sent me the recipe to use sunflower seeds and dulse and lime and the veganese and all that stuff. And I went on a trip up to Atlanta a few years ago and met this brother, Mr. Anderson, and his amazing carrot tuna. And it's simply, and I was like, I've juiced, all this time I've been juicing and I've been literally throwing away the pulp, and I could have been using it. So what I did was I merged the two recipes, the carrot with the seeded tuna that I have with the sunflower seeds. It's grounded pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. There's celery in there. I feel that however you make tuna, you can use the carrot pulp and the grounded sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds and make it your own. I put lime juice in there, some cayenne. Because I have a Jamaican background, I love Scotch bonnet pepper, so there's a piece of Scotch bonnet in there. And that's it. I add my veganese. This one doesn't have veganese because when I'm on the detox, I try to stay away from prepackaged or prepared food. So this one just has grapeseed oil in it. But you can make the tuna your own, really. Any other questions?
Someone is requesting.
I didn't hear. Is requesting what?
Sorry. I was saying that I second with Shan. Shan is saying, do you have a recording of you cooking? Because she wants to learn how to make all of that. And I agree.
No, I don't. I'm being pushed to do that, but I don't. But you're like the fourth person, so I need to.
No, it's like 7 now.
I need to.
8. People are saying that you really should do it. 9. Uh-oh.
I need to. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. And I think because I'm learning as well, and I like to play around with recipes as well. Um,
That
my
might be the
my
beauty of it.
my children are not vegan, and I don't like the title vegan, you know, because it carries other things with it. I am going to be completely transparent. There are times where I crave fish. I'm going to eat me some fish. That's what it is, right? But I mostly eat plant-based because I know I feel better when I do. There are periods of time, like when I'm on a detox, where I'm only eating plant-based. So I think we need to be fluid. We're fluid beings. We can't be so
The
rigid in
Greek
our
term is
thinking.
I
flexitarian.
call it flexitarian.
Flexitarian, yeah. We need to be, but at the same time, if, because I tell this to my son, he eats chicken now, but when he was growing up, he only ate fish occasionally. If you're gonna, you know what they do with chicken. So if you're gonna eat chicken, make sure you buy in the hormone free, you know, you make sure you're making conscious choices. Make sure you know where your food source and how your food is being treated, because at the end of the day, everything is energy. And we want to be mindful of the energy that we're consuming. We want to be mindful of the energy that we're consuming. So I'm not for pigeonholing people and making them feel like they have to label themselves anything. I don't think that we should use the fear tactic or make people feel bad about themselves if they choose to eat things with eyes, right? I don't, that's not, that's your choice. But at the end of the day, we should be aware. We should be aware, and that's the goal. So, and I wanted, any other questions on this before I go? I have a couple more slides, and then I'm gonna open it up to more questions. I keep doing that. I am very proud of this dish. I wanted to share this dish because like I said before, my background is Jamaican. So one of our staple dishes is ackee and saltfish, right? And saltfish, like I said, it's salted, so it's very high in sodium. It really dehydrates the body. So I love ackee and saltfish though. So I was like, well, how can I eat ackee and saltfish and not have the saltfish? So I've eaten ackee before, plain, but it wasn't the same. And a good brethren of mine gave me this recipe with using jackfruit. So you use the green jackfruit and you basically cook it as if it was the saltfish, and then you add the ackee. So I just wanted to add that to say that there's so many alternatives that you can create in your own kitchen with your favorite foods. Here, this looks like fried chicken wing or chicken fingers or whatever you want to call it. That's cauliflower. My son, loves fried chicken, kills my cauliflower like it's fried chicken, right? So there's always ways of being creative, and this is the fun thing. Now, I wanted to include how can you empower yourself, right? You want to create a more sustainable global community by recognizing the power of one's choice, that you have a choice in everything that you do, right? Eating on a budget is one of mine. So buy fruits and vegetables that are local and are in season. These tend to be the freshest and they're most affordable. Go to local farmers markets. I like to bounce around. So I'm at the farmer's market. I go to Publix to get their BOGO. I'm going to Fresco y Mas. I'm hopping around because it just works for me. I don't shop at just one place. I shop wherever the sales are, right? Explore the bulk aisle. You'll be surprised that a lot of times the prepackaged stuff is more expensive than if you go in the bulk aisle and buy what you use, right? Choose foods that are in their natural state. You also want to try to prepare your weekday lunches on your weekend. That's something that I'm working on. So meal planning. So it's all a process. You don't want to jump from the gate and try to do all these things at one time. Look at some things that look more realistic for you and work with that and build from there, knowing that with time, this is a lifestyle change, so it will get easier. You want to also grow what you eat, even the smallest things. So I have a little balcony. I grow my peppers. I have my thyme, my rosemary. I have my basil. I have things that I know that I'm going to use. Tomatoes. Now, I might not have everything, but at least I know some of the things that I am preparing my food with, it came from my hands, my energy, right? Explore plant-based recipes. Explore other cultural foods. So I listed all of the foods that I've tried that have plant-based option. Ethiopian food is one of my favorite. Also is Middle Eastern, which, Egyptian food and all of that food. Mexican food, also Thai food has some amazing plant-based options. You can also join a food co-op or any kind of community supported agricultural program where you can get produce for affordable. Most every city has one. They may not be well promoted, but most all cities have one. You want to learn to use the dirty dozen and the clean 15 list when buying organic. Everything doesn't have to be organic, right? So you can simply Google it every year. They come out with the new one. I meant to include it in the slides, but I apologize, I didn't remember. But there's the dirty dozen and the clean 15. And the dirty dozen on that list, you want to buy everything organic. Strawberries is one of them. Strawberries, you want to get organic. That's one of the most highest fruits with pesticides. Spinach is another one. Apples are another one you want to buy organic. Peppers. Think of things that have a thin skin or skin that we consume. You want to buy organic. Potatoes. Things that have.
Is this egg on egg? It's the same or better?
No, give me a minute. I'll come help. Okay. So there's things you want to be able to really look and read the labels of your prepackaged foods that you consume. Research local plant-based catering and meal planning options. Like I said, a good friend of mine, she is a vegan chef, so I've reached out to her a couple times. Don't feel like you have to be on this journey on your own. Get support, especially if it's not something that you're familiar with or that you're coming from. Get the support that you need and listen to your body. I've included some resources here, some websites and different things. I also wanted to just show a list of my books, and then I'm going to leave some space open for questions. Like I said, I'm going to be providing Humanity 360 with this PowerPoint, so you'll have it, and anyone that registered for the session today will have access to this resource as well. So let me see. I don't know how I can show this, but I will try my best. All right, so these are just a few books that I've used. This is Eating Well for Optimum Health by Andrew. And I think what I'll do is I'll take a picture and send it in the email as well. This is a very old book. A lot of these books I've inherited from my aunt or other family members. This is another powerful book. If you're a melanated person, I suggest you get it. African Holistic Health by Layla O. Africa, who recently passed. Amazing book. There's some things that challenge me in here, but I feel that we can't agree on everything, but there's some good nuggets of wisdom in that book. This is another powerful one, Sacred Women by Queen Afuya. This one, another amazing book, New Choices in Natural Healing. And I think I'll give one more, because I have a lot. This cookbook, I love. If you love soul food, this is Vegan Soul Kitchen by Bryant Terry. And he has a lot of good, I've included his website on the resources list, but he has a lot of good recipes. And I'm gonna open up now to any questions. Let me see if I can. and I'll stop sharing this. Okay. All right. Now I see the chat. I wasn't seeing the chat before. Okay.
Yeah, because you had your screen up. It's hard to do both when you have.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. We took care of everything. I was taking notes for you. So it was fine. It was great.
In the last book, the Vegan Soul Kitchen, would you say that there's a lot of recipes that are like plant-based, or it's more soy-based?
It is plant-based. A lot of his recipes are plant-based. And what he does too is he has a lot of things like cornbread and things that are soul food that we probably wouldn't be like, how are you gonna turn that vegan? Right. He turns it into vegan. And what he does too is he has a song list. So he incorporates the recipes with a song to kind of motivate you while you're listening.
Sold.
It's a good cookbook. Yeah, he helped me a lot. He helped me a lot. This one helped me as well. It's vegetarian, so there are some dairy recipes and recipes that involve cheese and eggs, but that can be substituted, or it could be not. If that's what you want to consume, then do you, right? One thing that I do want to advise though, dairy products and eggs does cause the body to create more mucus. So if you consume a lot of cheese and milk, and then you may be prone to things like asthma, allergies, eczema, and have respiratory, later may deal with respiratory issues.
Yeah. You have more questions? I can go first. Go ahead. So I saw that one of your challenges had to do with you being an avid snacker. That would be me. So I wanted to know, like, if you had some tips or advice on how you were able to transition from being, or if you are still an avid snacker.
Still an avid snacker. But now what I do is I pack my own snacks. Now I'm snack packing. So I'm bringing seeds. I'm bringing things that I know that I can eat that are gonna sustain me. What I would do is, I have children, so I have one is 20 and one is 8, and while they were growing up, I'm packing their lunches, I'm packing their snacks, and then like I'm stuck. I'm like starving throughout the day, or not eating. So what I do now is I'm making sure I'm packing my little snacks, and I'm doing healthy options for those snacks. What I do now is also that I wasn't doing before is anytime before I go to an event or a party, I eat. I'm going on an empty stomach, because most times what they have is I can't eat, or and if I go on a full stomach, then I know that I'm going to be less inclined to eat something that I don't need to eat. Mm-hmm. So I go with my stomach full, and if I see something that I want and I want to take a little snack of it, I do, but it's not something that's going to be detrimental to what I'm doing.
And I think that like while we were on tour, like the way that people wanted to reward us or support us is by taking us to get food.
And then we will find ourselves eating all types of stuff.
You can't, it's hard to say, I want to feed you, like, and so where do you want to go? And I'm like, well, there's actually no place around here that really suits, our appetite or whatever, and we just end up at somebody's Outback.
Yeah.
Salmon that we didn't want, but you can't say stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's a challenge, especially being on the road. It's a challenge. What I did, especially when I go out the country, I Google like vegan spots near me, or like if I know that that's what I'm trying to do, then I'll let them know. And food is a way that we gather as people. We break bread. It's not just about nutrition. It's about a social gathering, right? And a lot of cultures, if you don't receive their food, it's taken as an offense. So what I've learned to do is be diplomatic and not offend, but doing it in a way of where I'm still being true to the role that I am on, right? So I'm like I said, I'll have a lot of times I'll have my own food with me, or I'll say, oh, you know, no, thank you, or can you pack a plate for me, right? I'll pack a plate because I know one of my children gonna eat it.
There you go.
You know, my daughter, yep, right. So there's always creative ways. There's always creative ways.
We do have. I was gonna share your recipes on the slide.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
I have some recipes that I've played around with that I came to enjoy, which one of them is the chickpea tuna salad. I
Yeah.
like that. I have a beet burger recipe and black beans. I have a sweet potato and black bean burger that I like, and a bunch of good stuff. I have another question in regards to like detox. Aside from the one that with the bentonite clay, do you recommend any other ways of detoxing the body?
So definitely eating on a cycle. So there's certain like what you were doing, like waking up and not just eating like a whole spread of food, because that is not allowing the body to and the digestive system to fully be prepared to manage that big plate of food. So I really listen to the cycle of how I eat. I'm not doing my best not to eat late. I think I've been doing well in the last 30 days, especially during the detox. I think it's so important also to know what your intention is with the detox, right? What energy are you carrying with that? I think impacts the experience of the detox. Start off by just maybe doing a day or maybe a 3-day, listening to your body, knowing when and why you're doing it. Another thing too is with a detox, there are certain symptoms that you experience, like headaches, like, you know, maybe your skin may break out, you know, and you may have like 5 pimples break out during the detox. And a lot of times people are like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm getting sick. What's going on with me? When the body is flushing out certain toxins, there's certain things your body's going to experience. One thing that I've learned is that the body wants to heal itself, right? If you get a scratch, over time, you're going to notice that it gets darker and it starts to heal itself. So the body wants to heal itself. The purpose of me doing a detox is to allow the body an environment that is going to heal to its most optimal potential, right? And it's like a reset. It's like a reset. So even if you do it for a day or 3 days, you're still allowing the body to rest and eating on a cycle. That has worked for me.
Have you heard of the like the lemonade diet, you know, with the lemons and the cayenne? Would you recommend?
I've done that.
Okay.
I've done that. The thing is too, on a detox, the lemon, and people don't mention the lemonade diet. The lemon and the cayenne is very, very, very important, right? So even when I do a detox, I'm not drinking that throughout the day because I don't want to become acidic, because they don't talk about that part of it. But every morning I am drinking cayenne, a teacup of cayenne, lemon or lime juice, warm water, and I put bee pollen because I deal with allergies. So what the lemon does, it helps cut any mucus that's in the body. It also provides the body with an exceptional amount of vitamin C, which builds our immunity. What the cayenne does is helps purify the blood and also cuts any mucus that we may be experiencing in the gut area. 95% of disease and illness starts in the stomach, starts in our intestines, right? And what the lime and the cayenne, and for me, the warm water, what it does is it helps to stimulate the digestive juices and allow us to have a proper bowel movement as well in the morning. So there's a reason why. So when I initially started doing the lemonade, and you do the lemonade, you can put maple syrup, and you do the Epsom salt in the night, and you do all this. They're not telling you, or a lot of people are not researching, well, why am I doing this? They're just doing it. So my whole thing is, know the intention of why you're doing what you're doing and research it. Well, why am I drinking lemonade and cayenne? Well, why? What is that going to do to me? Why? How is that going to help me? We have to show agency in our journey of life. We have to show agency in every aspect of that journey of life. The food that we eat impacts our mental, which impacts our thoughts, which impacts our actions, which impacts our relationships. It's an effect to everything. So we have to have agency and responsibility in everything that we do.
Receive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And if you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop them. We're gonna share some things that Cedrica likes to make in light of plant-based eating. So this one's pretty easy. When I ask you what this is, everyone knows what this is, right? What would you call it?
Me?
Sadly, I just learned that pineapples aren't necessarily real.
They're a hybrid.
Exactly.
They're considered a hybrid.
Yeah, so when I said I had a pineapple that tastes like a coconut, that was a true fact. And it was so weird to me. It was, and I didn't understand it. I'm like, I've been like food. And then I found out that pineapples
are extinct.
Are extinct. Yes, they are real, but we don't have the access to like the actual pineapple here.
Exactly.
And now
a lot of the bananas too are hybrid bananas.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the bananas.
They're not the real bananas.
So
that's why I put foods in quotation marks. A lot of the things that we eat, we think is food, is really either a pesticide or some kind of, genetically modified creation that now we're calling food.
Agreed. Oh.
That looks like a green smoothie that probably has spinach.
Spinach, okay.
It looks kind of thick, so maybe even some Irish moss or some kind of flax seed. It looks kind of thick to it. It's got some body to it, so
all right.
More than just spinach.
You're pretty good at this, right?
Oh, kiwi. Nice.
You named it.
Morning bliss. Nice. Nice.
Well, this is kind of in the beginning of our journey when we were just learning about the properties of some of these herbs, and especially the sea moss and the moringa.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just from what you told me today, this is too much sugar.
Yeah, I would take out the apple. And I would possibly add a handful of the kale.
Okay. Right, because there are no green vegetables in. You're right.
Well, the spirulina and the spirulina and the moringa, but I would put some fresh kale. Okay. It's a good cheat green smoothie because you got the spirulina and you got the moringa, so it's a good cheat.
You caught us.
Thank you.
Let's see what's next. Ooh, what is that?
Ooh, this looks like coconut and oats.
Oh, we had that before.
And cinnamon.
We had it before.
It's looking like
some oatmeal?
I don't know if it's oatmeal. I would say it's like a oat something, the oat mix. Like a muesli or some kind of oat cereal.
Okay, let's see what we have here.
Oh, okay. Plant-based tuna. See? And I've never made the chickpea tuna. That's why I wouldn't know.
It's so good.
It's really good.
I'm gonna try that.
If you really love tuna, this is a really good substitute for it. Seriously.
And then you season it to your liking, like you would do your own tuna fish. But
okay.
Yep.
I see you don't have, one thing that I use in my tuna is dulse. I don't know if you've heard of dulse.
Do you spell it?
Dulce.
DULN. What is that?
It's a sea plant that is grounded up and it looks like black pepper. So it gives it a fishy taste. It tastes, the carrot tuna, you close your eyes, you think you're eating tuna fish because of the dose.
Wow.
Thank
Dose.
you.
Or you can get the seaweed. You know how they have the seaweed thing now? The chips or whatever, and you can crumple that up, and you can put it in there and it'll give it a fishy taste too.
Seaweed, okay. This is awesome. We get additions to our dishes. This is so good.
And if anyone has any plant-based meals that they have tried, please chime in because we're all learning here.
Yeah, we're sharing right now. You guys have plant-based, any recipes that could benefit us, or let us know.
I think someone did the carrot chips, bacon strips, carrot bacon.
Ooh, like, I've done that.
Like a viral thing.
The carrots, it's yummy. It's really yummy. Okay, this is like a shell pasta. It looks like some kind of crumbles are in it. Like a Gardein crumbles or some kind of.
Like the frozen crumbles.
Like the frozen crumbles.
Ah, let's see.
This plant.
Whoa.
Here. Oh, you use the walnuts. I love the walnuts. Yes.
This is my favorite meal by far.
That's good.
It's a tedious process. It's a long process because a lot of the things are mixed separate and blended and added at different times of the cooking process. But it's definitely worth it. I've made this and froze the meat and made tacos, made spaghetti, made all types of stuff.
The walnuts. The walnuts are good.
Yes. Well, but she really did have to it was a very separate, everything had to be done separately. So you would mix these two ingredients and you have to hold that here and then come over here and saute these ingredients. Like it was just a bunch of that stuff. Like
yeah. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but the thing is, it could be fun work.
Yeah.
It could be fun work, and it doesn't have to be an everyday. You can cook in bulk. My children, when my son was younger, he would help me. My daughter, she helps me. So you can make it a project because it can become a project.
Yeah, absolutely.
That looks yummy.
Thank you.
I think that might be it for our pictures. Let me see what we have here.
Yes, I think that's it.
Yeah, look at you. Everything is energy. Yes.
You said that. I didn't even see we're aligned here.
Yes. And that's what I want to go back to the real quick. The guilt free.
Take your time. We have time. You can go ahead, dive in.
Because it's one thing that I realized, okay, that helped me with the guilt is once I did that and turned off that guilt factor. So like, for example, if I love Oreo cookies and they're vegan, I love Oreo cookies, right? Like who doesn't love Oreo cookies? So if I know that I'm on my cycle, I'm on my moon cycle and I'm gonna eat Oreo cookies, I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna like, oh my God, why did I eat the cookies? And I've tested myself to where I've done the whole guilt thing, and then I feel sick afterwards. My stomach is hurting me. I'm like, oh, why? And then complete opposite. I'm like, F it, I'm about to eat these cookies and be carefree, and I feel no problems, no stomach pains. No, I just keep it moving, and I don't. It's not like I'm doing it every day, but I know that there's times, like my moon cycle, where I may crave chocolate or I may crave, and it doesn't make me a bad person.
I think the language that we use. So we use the word cheat, right? Come on now. When you frame your brain to say that you're cheating by eating an Oreo cookie, I mean, come on.
Exactly. It's not a cheat. It's a treat. And that's what I tell my father used to always say, you want something sweet up your mouth, right? You want something sweet up your mouth. And I guess I want something sweet up my mouth. Like I want to feel sweetness in my mouth, right? So there'll be times like And this is the thing, like if we're gonna cheat, there's ways to trick the brain. So there's be times, because I was a dessert person. I used to love having dessert after every meal. That ain't good. So what I would do is maybe eat a handful of raisins after I eat my meal, or drop a tip of honey on my tongue. And that's sweet, that's good. And keep it. So there's ways to trick the body if there's something that you're craving. And you don't have to guilt yourself if you know, eat a half a pack of Oreo cookies.
All right, I have a pack. No, I think the titles too, like having to subscribe to one category, right? So you have people that are like, they feel guilty because they're supposed to be vegan or vegetarian.
Yes.
It's the categories, right? They keep you kind of in a box almost.
Yes. Burn all labels is my philosophy. Burn them all. Because we're beyond that. And like I said, we're fluid beings. So we should be able to be, you know, very fluid and not rigid through life. So whatever label that you want to grab onto and that they're marketing to, you know, everybody want to be vegan now and got the t-shirt and everything, that, you know, it's cool. And not to knock anybody that holds on to that, but we have to realize that all of these labels have been created for a reason. And we are outside of that. We are outside of any box that they put us in. And we should be empowered and aware and knowledgeable of the choices that we make in our life experience. Nobody can define your life.
They defined our life and then told us how to live it, right?
Yeah. Nobody can put a label on your life. Come on now. So just, yeah, be powerful in your life choices is what's important.
That's life. That's just not food. That's life.
Anything.
That's life.
I mean, when you really think about it, that the way that society portrays it is that we are choiceless, right? Within in terms of what we want to choose, they can give us choices, but if we feel like our choices are outside of that, we won't move on. We'll stick to these given choices.
Yes,
that's not the case.
No, it is limitless. It is so there are an abundance of possibilities, of perspectives, of angles, of lines, whatever you want to call it. Their philosophies, they're in abundance. So you have the power and the responsibility to take ownership of whatever path you want to go on, knowing that that's a fluid path. It's not a straight.
That's right.
It's all over the place. It's not, you know, yeah.
This was great.
Thank you.
So good for the soul. I'm full. I don't need any food anymore. I'm good.
Food for the soul.
That's it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Man.
That's what we need to consume, especially in the climate that we're on now. We need to be mindful of what we're consuming. Like, we can't allow things to distract us from our purpose and why we're here. It's good to be aware, but we can't overconsume what they're telling us, because, like, you know, both of you have a purpose. And each one of us on this call and that's watching this video has a purpose. And if we get so caught up on what everybody's doing and saying and this one, then how are we going to spend time and energy in fulfilling our purpose?
Right. That's right.
Right. So just be mindful of what you're consuming and over consuming. Do a self-check, you know, check in with yourself every day. And thank you for this opportunity. This was beautiful.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. I saw Shannon was on earlier. Thank you, Shannon. My other Ya, she's a Ya, I'm a Ya. So thank you, Ya.
Yes. Now this was awesome, and I can't wait to share this with everyone. This is what people are looking for, right? They don't even know how or where to access resources like this, right? Yeah. Like, where do you have, if you're in an environment where no one is doing this or speaking about this, like, how do you access this information?
Well, this is the thing. We live in the age of technology. So you can access anything with your fingers, on your phone, on a
But where
computer.
does the thought come from?
I think the biggest thing
know?
is self-control. I think a lot of people are open to it, but being as though we've been programmed to, we've been introduced to McDonald's, we've been introduced to fast food, and introduced to these things to where, we're craving pesticides, to be honest. And how I kind of trick my brain. I'm like, okay, I used to love Campbell chicken noodle soup. Like, I would eat can after can or ravioli and stuff like that. And I had to think, I'm like, Sarika, this got an expiration date of 5 to 6 years. Like, what are they doing and putting in the cans to preserve it to where I'm still able to eat it, the shelf life? So it's like, wow, that having that knowledge kind of like changed my way of thinking.
Yeah.
Knowing that we
to say this, I say it's not about control. Because it's the foods that we eat, and I'm gonna name 2 of them, that's highly, highly addictive. Sure. One of them is almost identical to cocaine. Is sugar. Yeah. And the other one is cheese. Highly, 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 highly addictive.
Thanks for sharing.
They don't touch. I had to do my own research to be like, oh, this is why I love pizza. Because they don't trick me. It's addictive, right? It's addictive. So the body has withdrawal symptoms, headaches. The body has all these things because it cravings, because it wants that. It wants that, right? So we have to also realize we live in a capitalist consumerism society. So if they can sell it, if they can hook you onto it to get you to buy it every day, they will.
Money
so that turned on a light bulb for me. And I did my research and I said, okay, well, I know I like sweets and I know the sugar's addictive and I know the cheese is addictive and I know that everything white on my plate is going to turn into sugar in my body. I have to learn that, right? Mm-hmm. What can I do to help reduce it? Tell you, chlorophyll. Greens. You drink chlorophyll every day, some chlorophyll water every day, you will not be craving sugar. You drink that sea moss every day, your body will be so nutrient and mineral rich, it will not crave that sugar. So there's things like spirulina, I just said it, chlorophyll, greens. Anytime you eat something green, and you'll notice that the desire for sweetness will diminish. A lot of things that we want to just control ourselves and to stop eating shit. That doesn't work.
Right. That never works. You're shocking the body.
That results in rebellion. The body rebels and is like, no, girl. We about to fight. My suggestion is introduce more healthier options into the body so the body's more nutrient rich, that it looks at the bag of chips and is like, I don't want that. The more you pull things that are feeding your body, the less the body is going to crave. And then you don't have to control nothing. Ain't about control.
I think about the signals that our body sends to our mind. And if that is blocked, then my body is not sending any signals to my mind. So I don't even correlate what I'm eating with how I'm feeling. I don't even correlate because the signals they're not even connected.
It's not. And it's a process. I didn't get here and I'm still a work in process because society doesn't condition us to eat well. It conditioned us to consume very well. It conditioned us to be consumers. And a consumer is just consuming, like Pac-Man and Pac-Women. It ain't trying to worry about what it is. It's just consuming. So educate yourself. Mm-hmm. Pay attention to yourself. How do you feel after you eat that chocolate? It tastes good, but how do you feel after you eat that fried chicken? After you eat that potato chips? How do you feel? Connect the two. Right. And then the desire for it will diminish.
Heavy, sleepy. When we should be eating food that give us energy. And I like to think of it as like we're children of the sun, so we should be eating things that are grown under the sun.
Yeah.
And that's where we get our energy from.
Yes.
So if it's not in the produce section,
That's our new thing. We don't shop in the store. If it's not in the produce section, we don't want it. That's how we are now.
Good. And that's my thing was only go there first. Fill up my cart and go there first.
Then you'll have no room for nothing.
And then I can go around, but if my cart, I can only work. Another thing I didn't mention earlier is I only buy and shop what's on sale or what's discounted. That's it.
That's smart. They don't ever discount produce though.
Well, here Publix has a lot of buy one, get one. So they like their organic apples. They always have like one of the apples. And sometimes it's an apple that I've never tried before. And that's another thing with buying on sale, what it does, it forces me to try new things. Like the other day, I've never cooked an artichoke, but they had buy 2 for $5. So I said, I'm gonna buy one and try it out. Now I'm buying artichokes because it was good. So this is the thing, find something that's, and like discipline yourself. And it doesn't have to be you buy something on sale, but like how you're only gonna buy in the produce. Like give yourself something that's doable, that makes sense, and it's gonna work for you and you can expand on that. And for me, it's allowed me, by me only buying things on sale, I'm not partial. So yeah, there's Khalifa Farms and there's Almond Breeze and there's Silk. But if Khalifa Farms is on sale, guess what? I'm buying Khalifa Farms. Like I'm not partial to any. I'm not going to be stuck in this consumerism bottle where I only buy this.
Yeah, I only right. And it's so funny.
My pocket can work with.
We went to Florida. We were in Florida in March. We were in Florida in March, and I feel so. I don't like using this word, but I feel uneducated when I come across a new fruit. I am like, what? They've been all this time. It was a cactus pear. I was like, what?
Yes. Those are good. Yeah, those are good.
It just makes me think, like, how much, what else are you guys hiding from us?
Yes.
Like, there probably are so many different things that we don't know about that could be beneficial to our health. But we only know this little box of things that they give us in the US.
Exactly.
Or even the herbs that grow.
And that's the thing, like
fruits that grow in
exploring, exploring. And that's what this gives you an opportunity to explore.
We found spring onions in Atlanta, okay? We were at Stone Mountain Park eating spring onions that are just growing in the grass.
We have mulberry bushes here.
Mulberry bushes. I've never even heard. I only heard that song before.
And then we're eating off the tree and people looking at us like we're weird, and we're like, but you eat your fruit from the grocery store.
Right. You're weird for eating that stuff that you buy in the grocery store. She was like, you don't think they sprayed that? I said, you don't think they sprayed your food?
Exactly. Wow.
No, it's a great journey though. I'm really, really happy.
It is.
I really am.
And it's a nonstop. Just keep, like I just recently learned of root noodles about a year ago, and they call them zero pasta. They're in the produce section, and they're noodles kind of like rice noodles or ramen noodles, but they're made from a root vegetable. Banging. So good. My children love them. They're so good. It
sounds delicious. I can't wait to.
Yeah, and it has no taste, but you can put any kind of.
Most of the nutrient things don't have a taste.
Yeah, and you can make it taste like anything, because I've done it in a curry sauce. I've done it in like a chili pepper sauce. You can make it taste like anything, and it's good. It's a root noodle. I think they call it like zero pasta or something like that. I remember the brand.
Would you say that it's important to eat based off your blood type?
Good question.
I think that's important. Yes. Do I do that? I know. You asked me what my blood type is. I don't remember. I blocked that part of my pregnancies out, so I don't. But I think if that's important for somebody, then yes, they should, do that. I think there is no cookie cutter. And I think that We are all, like I said, like our fingerprint, we are all individuals. So if a person is highly anemic, they need more iron. They need more iron, right? I'm highly anemic. Now, am I gonna choose to eat red meat to get my iron? No. Right? So there's ways of there's ways to make this journey a easy journey for yourself. If you believe knowing what your blood type is a part of your journey, then I suggest you do that. To me, it's not an important part of my journey. Yeah.
For me, my learning style came into play when it came to this journey, because I learned better by experience, right? And so I've never had the experience of changing the way that I eat or my lifestyle in that form. And so I don't know, in the beginning I felt myself like always just going back and forth, right? And I don't know where I was going with this, but wait. When I was telling this story, I thought about myself in college in 2004 in the McDonald's line. That was probably one of the last times I had McDonald's in my college career. Oh, this is what happened. Yes. Okay. So I went to the doctor because I don't know why. I was getting a checkup, actually. I needed it. And they would not let me leave because they said my blood pressure was too high. I don't know anything about, this is me not having any knowledge about health, okay? And I was like, what? She was like, yeah. And I was like, no more meat. That was in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
No chicken, no beef, no pork. And she was like, that really has nothing to do with your blood pressure. And in my brain, I'm just like, I don't care, right? And so that's how that journey started. But everything started from like an experience. Oh, I felt this type of way. But I didn't know I felt that way until I stopped eating it. Then I was like, oh, shoot, that made me feel really heavy. Mm-hmm. And so I am learning all of these things through this journey. And then I'm gaining knowledge about it, if that makes sense. And so I'm still learning through experience on this journey. But I'm also listening to my body before I listen to someone else. Exactly. So my body will say, you don't like that, Shantice. Exactly. And I go look it up and I'm like, oh, I got this and this in it. No wonder I don't like it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think that listening to your body before you listen to someone else is like super, super important.
Yes. Self-study is the best study.
I love that.
That's what I say. And I think a lot of times we as a collective are disconnected to self. Mm-hmm. And because we're disconnected to self, we're constantly looking outside of ourselves for a savior or for somebody to lead us to the green pastures.
That's life.
Right? And we know, if I'm sitting at the computer like this all day, I know my neck gonna hurt. So I need to make a conscious effort to relax my shoulder. Like I have to take control over my life experience and what my body experiences on this journey. And I think too many of us, and not to put blame on anything, but just as a result of life, we have disconnected from self. We've become, robots in this machine of life, not realizing that we are not robots. We are breathing, living, energetic beings. Yeah. And as a result, we have to, that's why I said we need to check in with ourselves. Just sit with yourself for, even if it's 5 minutes for a day, and just recognize, where are you feeling aches? How are you breathing? Are you breathing deeply, or is it stuck in your chest? What thoughts come up? Are they thoughts of fear? Are they thoughts of resentment, thoughts of jealousy? What comes up? And don't do it from a space of judgment. Just observe. Just be like, okay, and observe. Because if we don't check in with ourselves, we don't know if we're in alignment with our true selves. A lot of us are out of alignment and we don't know. Like if you
flowing, we're flowing on top of ourselves.
We're just floating around.
Then you wake up, it's tomorrow.
And there's a balance. So even though I said we need to be fluid individuals, we need to be fluid and grounded. We can't be floating and just letting the wind just blow us all over the place. Right. We got to be grounded. So there's a balance between finding that being rooted and also being fluid at the same time.
I'm glad you mentioned balance because that matters in food as well, right? And so if you're like you said earlier, like if you're just drinking all the lemonade diet or detox, and now you're super acidic, right? You don't have any balance. You see what I'm saying? So like,
life is about balance, and something that an important teacher taught me is, and I don't have an example now, but you know, that analogy of the glass being halfway full or halfway empty, right? So an important teacher, what she shared with me is that, you know, we are always, or we're taught to think that the half glass full or the half glass empty is like the goal should be a full glass. Mm-hmm. Like balance is not the goal. Why isn't the half empty glass the goal?
Right.
So we can have space,
right,
for more.
Exactly.
Right? And we have just enough that we need. Why is the goal to have a full glass?
No, I
Who conditioned us to think when in life we want balance? We don't want it to be too full, because if stuff is too full, we can't manage the more. Right? We got to be able, so balance in everything. You know, too much of water. If we drink too much water at one time, we can drown and kill ourselves. So just be mindful. Be mindful.
Yes. It's important when we think about like mental wellness and what we eat, because, or we don't think about what we eat and tie it into like mental health and things of that nature. So all this is a lot of great information.
Yes.
Because there's things that we can eat to stimulate and boost our mind, herbs and things of that nature. Just doing a little bit more research. We weren't taught to go to our food when we were talking about like our whole well-being and things that are going on with our bodies. So
exactly.
I think this was one of the most important tools in our wellness joy workshops.
Yes.
Food is very important because this is where we get our energy from. This is our, you know, our whole being. We are what we eat.
Yep.
I would like to tell you guys that I am striving in my life. I don't know what this is called, but I would like to eat air eventually. I'm being honest though, seriously.
I've heard of that though.
Thank you.
I've heard of that.
Real thing.
I've heard of that. And there's actually, he's in India. I can't think of it, but he's like mad old. And he's only survived off of air. I'm gonna look for the articles. I've read it a few years ago, and he's only consumes air, not even water. He only consumes air. So I've heard of that. Now, do I want that? No, because I like sweetness. So I'm gonna need
already halfway there.
Once in a while, like I can't just do the air. I'm gonna need a tip of honey or something once in a while. But yeah, I think we're so expansive and we're so boundless that we can do and be anything without limit. Right? We limit ourselves. I really think that we're capable of so much. So much.
Agreed. All right, so we're going to get back to our screen so we can end this the right way.
Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So next week, we'll actually be diving into some body work on July 8th, same time, same place. Guys, be ready to get up and move, okay? So we've learned about how we can, how our food can really affect our mood and our mental wellness, but how does the body affect our mental wellness, especially in these times when we're sitting behind a computer screen for hours at a time,
sitting at home?
I mean, like, what can we do mentally that can translate physically, or what can we do physically that can translate mentally, vice versa? Join us next week to talk about it.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Oh my goodness, 2 more weeks. Oh.
We've been at it for 10 weeks strong, moving into our 11th week. This has truly been a journey. We've learned so much. I know you guys have learned so much. It's been so much content for us to digest.
That's right.
Now we have to work on implementing implementing it. But maybe we could do like a wrap up.
Yeah, we can do a wrap up. Have everybody on. That would be pretty cool. That would be actually really, really cool. Uh-oh. Ding, ding, ding. No, that would be awesome. We can have everybody come back together. It will be really, really awesome. I think that is a great idea. I think we will do that. Because this was a lot of information that we've been diving into. I'm really excited for the future because I love the fact that this stuff is never ending. This stuff will never go away. You'll always be able to access it. If you have questions, you'll always be able to access the presenters. And can you drop your information down in the chat for me, please?
So people can stay connected to you as well. Again, thank you, Black Coffee Company.
Always a pleasure.
And if you're not following us, please follow H.U.M.A.N.I.T.Y 360. We're on all social media platforms. Here is a list of services that we offer, all for free. So if you need us or know someone who may be able to utilize our services, please tap in. To the left, we have our telephone number listed because we offer 24/7 support for people who may be suffering or just need someone to talk to. That listening ear non-judgmentally. So we give our numbers out to people. But also on our website, we have an anonymous chat. So whoever doesn't feel comfortable giving their number or chatting with us, they can chat on our website anonymously, and we will be there to intercept those messages.
Absolutely. So if you know anyone that may be going through anything, share the number, share the website. Everybody needs somebody, okay? And we are here.
Yes.
We do actually live and survive off of donations. We always fail to mention that. So if you feel compelled to support our journey, we are a 501c3, so your donation will be tax deductible. We accept Cash App and PayPal. We thank you for your support.
Yes, thanks. And if you have any questions, ask us now. But after this workshop, you will get a survey. Please be honest. We need your feedback so that we can know where we can be better or things that we should implement in our workshops. So feedback, feedback, feedback. Our ending mantra: I am all that I desire to be.
I am all that I desire to be.
I am all that I desire to be. Words are powerful. And if you've been with us this long, you know we are strong believers that our words create our reality and our thoughts.
That's right. We love you guys so much, and we thank you so much for always being here and supporting our journey. We'll continue to make sure we show up. Please share this information with whoever you may want to share it with. You always have the copy of the video, so you're able to share it with whomever. And we love you guys so much.
Peace.
Alana, thank you so much. Peace out.
Thank you. You're muted.
Okay. She said have a good one.
Bye. Have a blessed one. Keep doing amazing work, ladies. Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty.
All right.